by greeting you with the Islamic greeting, Assalamu alaikum. Brothers, when you are met with this greeting, the hukam is to reply with more vigor and enthusiasm. Assalamu alaikum. It's a huge privilege to be in your company, so many distinguished individuals who have done so much for the community. And you'll see some unsung heroes. And this is what today is about. It's about seeing the great work. And I have been involved in the Community Leadership Awards for close to a decade now. And what I have seen, the consistent theme is the people that are awarded, you will see their humility, their humbleness. They never did what they did to be recognized or for an award, but they did it to serve others. And that's the ethos that we're here with today. I want you to just begin by a warm round of applause for our past winners from last year. Can we give them a round of applause? And I begin purposely with that because this is a stepping stone. This event is not just to applaud those people who are going to take away trophies, but it's here to network. It's here to use your own skills and to help others. Let me give you a real example. I was in the lobby outside just 10 minutes ago. We're about to build a major hospital in Kashmir. I just met one of the most renowned architects in London, and he said he's going to do the architect for that hospital for free. This is what tonight is about, and I thank you very much for offering your services. It's about giving. It's about using our skills. Too often we're focused on fundraising. We need to focus on skills raising because our community has immense talent. And
later, after the award ceremony, I'd like to invite senior partner Imran Ali and Raja Atif to come and collect the award. A round of applause.
Once again.
The next individual I want to invite is someone who's contributed to the community, and I heard this from Dr. Adil, that this individual, he runs a large charitable organisation, religious institution, primary school, and is still in the development phase. He'd been doing tireless work for the community, and I was told by Dr. Adil that one night this gentleman turned up to the hospital because there was a patient who was private paying, wasn't an individual citizen of this country, and had a shortfall of money for his operation, and this individual came and paid that money. Can I have a round of applause for Yusuf Hansa, please? Come onto the stage to accept his award from Nurul Islam. A great man, a role model for everyone in the community, especially me. Someone who works tirelessly and was instrumental in setting up the Muslim Council in Waltham Forest of all the mosques. Thank you, Brother Yusuf Hansa.
Brother Yusuf Hansa, Takbir! Allah!
Thank you very much. Please, I'm going to keep your hands warm. A round of applause. Thank you. Can I next invite the Secretary General of Musiad, Koyonju, to the stage, please, to make the presentation for the next award, and Dr. Sinha. Dr. Sinha, are you there? Can you come onto the stage, please? And the winners in this category is services to the community, especially health promotion. This young lady does a lot of charitable work. She's got her own health show. Sarah Kayum, can you come and collect your award, please? A round of applause for Sarah, doing a lot of work around health promotion and work in Kashmir on a lot of good causes and charitable issues. Sarah Kayum. A round of applause again for Sarah. The next individual I'd like to invite, I've been told, is a graduate of the Community Leadership Programme. He's now a councillor and a cabinet member, chairing the first Somali councillor in Brent. Thank you. And he's a cabinet member. Can I invite Councillor Harbi Farah to come and collect a round of applause, a graduate of the Leadership Programme. We're really proud of him. We will be hearing from some of these individuals later, but at the moment we're just collecting the awards. I don't want anyone to miss out on the awards. I've just been asked to make an announcement. Anyone parked in front of the hotel, please move your car, otherwise it might get clamped or towed away. It's a red route. If it's a larder, they might not take you away, but if you're not driving a larder, I advise you to move it. Thank you. The next individual I want to invite is someone who's been a role model in our own community, and she's actually delivered more for our community than some of the ethnic minority councillors. And I hold her in high regard. The individual that put her up for this nomination is a senior community member, a senior community leader, and he, along with lots of other colleagues, lobbied the Leadership Foundation and said we need to recognise the work of Councillor Claire Coghill. Please come to the stage to collect your award. We'll be hearing later on from her anyway. Really proud of individuals within the community that go out of their way to help members of our community, and Claire is one of those individuals that goes out of the way. I hope to see her in Parliament at a future date, even running the country, I hope. Turkish Councillor Ebru Bayazid to come onto the podium to give the award. Ebru. A round of applause for this young lady. This individual we're going to be giving the award to, she's actually tirelessly worked for the deaf community, and she belongs to the Turkish community, and she's at the forefront of community activism. Can I, sorry if I don't pronounce your name correctly, invite Ghislaine Siddiqui to come and correct the award for services to the deaf and hard of hearing community. She's the director of the Deaf Services at Ishra and leads in pioneering Islamic studies. And as you can see, we've got sign language for her this evening as well. Please. Thank you very much. Leading the torch for the deaf community. Thank you. Thank you. And while she's coming, can I also take this opportunity to invite Subha Rasa, who's done a lot of work for victim support, especially giving counselling to vulnerable women that have undergone atrocious atrocities, and she's been held in high esteem in Birmingham for that work. Can I also invite Subha Rasa to come onto the podium, please? Round of applause for her. Subha, please, a round of applause for such a young person. Okay, before we move on to the next category, and before I call Alistair on, he's playing with his mobile again. Give the award to The first one is someone I've known for a very long time. He was very active as a counsellor for 15 years. He worked tirelessly within the community. He was Justice of Peace. He was awarded the MBE by the Queen for his work, and more recently he's been doing a lot of anti-hate and Islamophobia work up and down the country. Can we have a round of applause for Maroof Hussain MBE to come and collect his award? Maroof Hussain. Maroof gave up his modelling career as well a long time ago, like me and Tony. But that pause, I could send that off to an agent, you know. And talking about agents, I did invite Citizen Khan for an award. For promoting foreign direct investment for sustainable growth in Africa is Luaba Tende, the Honorary Counsel for DRC, to come and collect the award. Thank you, Luaba Tende.
This way, please, guys.
The next individual I want to invite for services to the diamond industry, I'm sure I'll be getting to know him better, is Shohail Ayub Patel, Smart Commodity Trading. He might have a couple of rough stones in his pocket. I'm going to check him before he leaves. I like a pink rough stone would be good. Is Professor Talib, but unfortunately he's an MP. He's had to return back to Turkey because of the incident that happened. We have his daughter representing him, the Mayor of Ankara, Miss Busa Ozam. A round of applause for her, please. And our condolences go out to the individuals in that atrocity in Ankara. And we wish Professor Talib the best, and hopefully we'll see him next year.
This way, please. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. If everyone's heard of Zubair Gul, who manages the office for the overseas, Nejmi is his Turkish counterpart who does the same in Turkey. So Nejmi, if you can present the award. The first individual for services to the Turkish catering industry from the FS group is two individuals, and they do very good food because I've been there. They've got a very good chain. Kazim Akus and Ibrahim Uzun to the stage, please. Do you want to pass that?
All this way, please.
The next individual I want to invite for services in preservation of history for the minority communities is Dr. Sabatin Abdur Rahman. So Dr. Sabatin Abdur Rahman, please come and collect your award. Thank you. I want to know what that is, Dr. Sabatin. Preservation of history in minority communities. That'd be a good read for me. The next individual, someone who had to leave early, the person I spoke about earlier, Mr. Zubair Gul. I worked with Mr. Zubair Gul 5 years on the Overseas Punjab Commission. He took 2 years out because he's got a disabled daughter, an elderly mother, and he's been still very active in pursuing cases. He's now the Federal Commissioner for the Prime Minister for Overseas Pakistanis. He takes formal charge of the office in January, I know we're going to be hearing from our MP Naz Shah later on about one case in particular about the death of a young woman, a horrendous, heinous act of murder that was only brought to light because of Naz's intervention. I'm sure people like Mac were involved in that and others. I know Zubair was certainly involved. He went down to the village, went to the graveyard, and he was instrumental. He takes every case as his own case and deals with it. He's had to go to receive the Chief Minister Shehbaz Sharif to the airport. Can I invite Ali Bhai to come and collect this award on his behalf? A round of applause for Zubair Gul, who works tirelessly in the community.
This way, please. Thank you.
I never have much hopes for politicians from abroad because we don't hear good things about them, but Zubair Gul is one of those that's lived in Britain, worked with the community, and he senses the problems that the community has and works to the nth degree. The next individual I want to invite for services in the radiotherapy and engineering department of the NHS is Salman Moffat to come and collect his award. Salman, please. Round of applause for Salman. Thank you very much. Thank you.
For the invitation. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and thank you very much for giving me the privilege to give some awards out. I think I'll make two comments, if I may. I'll first make a comment about where we are as a community in 2016, building upon some of the words and expressions that were made by SOAS, and then I may just say a few words about future leadership. I think that I agree with lots of common narrative that the world's probably changed since Brexit and also through the Trump effect. And I do believe that communities do need a deserving hand, and tomorrow's a very important day because tomorrow we have the publication of the Louise Case report. Some of you will be aware of that. Others who perhaps aren't aware, I would ask you to read it. It's quite an important community report about cohesion with a strong emphasis on extremism. It really is. One of the things I've said earlier on in trying to analyse the situation that we're in, and I maintained today, is actually I think that terrorism, all forms of terrorism, starts and finishes in neighbourhoods. It happens somewhere local, and the best people to deal with it are those people who are in those local communities. So I do agree with SOAS, where I think community capacity building is a requirement. But equally, and I've said this before, I also think that we also have responsibility. And I speak as a British Pakistani, as a family man, as a community member, as well as a senior police officer in this respect. But I think that we also have a responsibility because ultimately this evil ideology is finding ways of getting through to homes through social media devices. No longer you can't protect your family just by locking your front door so nobody can come in. It's coming in through your mobile phones, through your tablets, through your desktops. It's reaching you. And when communities are slightly disaffected, or when there's an identity crisis between the first, second and third generation, and when that's conflated with the powerful and loving religion that we share of Islam, you can see how some people are drawn into that, misguidedly, but nevertheless, very dangerously. And the best people to deal with that has to be the brother, the sister, the mother, the father, because they're ultimately going to spot the first signs of change. And I use the example of Aqsa Mahmood. She's the girl from Scotland, from Glasgow, who is now the chief ISIS recruiter for females in Syria. And her first defined sign of change was she put the Harry Potter book down. She said that is haram. Now, anybody's entitled to do that, but what I urge people to do is when you see signs of change like that within your loved ones, you should just ask the question as to why there's such change. 9 times out of 10 it can be harmless, but at one time it's not. Engage, intervene, educate, eradicate, whatever. Just make sure we deal with it. And that's a serious responsibility we have today. With the so-called Raqqa scatter effect, by the time we take the territory back in ISIS and Syria, there's going to be lots of diffusion of that threat, and it'll come up in different ways. It is not going to be over, unfortunately. Community responsibility. In terms of a leadership responsibility, I'll just finish by a couple of words. I think the main thing that we have to do is, actually we all aspire to be doctors or accountants or lawyers, and that's how our culture is built, and that's fine. But two things. Firstly, don't ignore career opportunities as deserving, as powerful in other sectors, including business, including the political sphere. We've got Nasha here this afternoon and this evening, and what a successful story she's got and what a difference she's making. I can tell you from personal experience the difference she's making. The word she's using is making a profound difference in Westminster City. So people can make that difference. And equally policing. I came from an area of Birmingham not so long ago, been into policing for 30 years, ended up as chief officer responsible for the whole of London on some very tricky areas of business. But if I can do it, that means you can do it, that means your children can do it, and they deserve to do it. So let's not have any glass ceilings, let's not inhibit ourselves, let's not think that because we've got something we have to be over gracious and over thankful for it, because we deserve it. You deserve it, you've worked hard for it, you're good people. Demand it, deserve it, and work for it. Thank you very much.